Hello, David Moore with IRAadvantage.com. And today we're going to talk about the easiest way to buy real estate using your IRA. So I think the first thing I want to say is a lot of times people call up and they want to go through it and say, well, how do I get money out of my IRA to go buy real estate? First thing I'm going to tell you is we're not pulling money out of your IRA. We're just going to change who the custodian is for the most part. But if we look at the easiest way to buy real estate, to make a real estate investment with an IRA, is going to be a checkbook IRA. A basic self-directed IRA is probably, it's very easy to set up. But I really have a hard time understanding how you can make those investments appropriately. And what I mean by that is our position, we're very conservative, is that you cannot tie up a property personally and then assign that property purchase sale agreement over to your IRA. We would look at that as a prohibited transaction, because you have personally taken the property off the market and then you're assigning it over to your retirement account, which is a benefit to a disqualified party, therefore could be considered a disqualified transaction. So you've got to really be careful with this stuff. And the problem with a disqualified or prohibited transaction with an IRA is you've in effect distributed all funds in that account as of the first day in the year in which the indiscretion occurred. So you don't want to do the wrong thing here. So if we look at IRAs, the easiest way to buy real estate with your IRA is a checkbook IRA. A basic self-directed IRA really just means we're going to move the money from a custodian. It won't allow you to do what you want to one that does. And then to make the investment, you're going to submit the investment to the custodian. You're going to have that purchase sale agreement. It's going to be between the seller and that trust company for benefit of your IRA. How do you get the earnest money there? And I just know that these transactions are done all the time. Person ties it up, then assigns it over. Technically, we would not want to see that, but it happens. So look at who else could write that offer. If we're looking at a basic self-directed IRA, who's not a disqualified party to your IRA? Well, you are, your spouse would be, lineal ascendants, descendants, their spouses, or any legal entity owned in a controlling interest by one of those. None of those people or entities can make that purchase sale agreement, put it in place. How about a sibling? How about brother, sister? Are they a disqualified party? No, they could do it for you. How about aunts, uncles, cousins, your best friend? All those people are people that can make that transaction. But the topic is what's the easiest way. So I'm going to let that basic transaction go away, because the acquisition's one thing, management's a whole nother issue with a basic account. You've got to have it professionally managed. A checkbook IRA is a totally different deal. Checkbook IRA is wonderful because what happens is we've eliminated that trust company from the day-to-day operations or investments. And what happens with a checkbook IRA is we're still going to create that new custodial account. The custodian's involved with one investment, the membership interest of the IRA-specific limited liability company. So the member of that limited liability company is the trust company for benefit of your IRA. It could be just one account. It could be multiple accounts. It could be you personally in those accounts. Any combination can happen. But what will happen as soon as that checkbook IRA LLC is invested in, you've got a bank account in the LLC's name and EIN, you're going to be the manager of that limited liability company. So it's a manager-managed LLC. Once again, the member is a trust company typically. So as soon as that investment's made, you're just going to negotiate the purchase of the property between the seller and the limited liability company you're the manager of. You need earnest money, you write a check. You go to close on it, you write a check. The cash flow off the property is going to go into the LLC every month, and the expense is paid out of it. People's next question often is, well, how do I get the money? If I need to take a RMD, required minimum distribution, or I just want to take some cash flow, how do I get it? And I guess the first thing I'd say is the worst thing you can think of is that investment being yours. It's not. It's the retirement accounts. I think that's a dangerous thing for people. A lot of times they think, well, hey, it's my property. It's not my IRA's. No, it's your IRA's property. And therefore, the only benefit you're going to get from that is via a distribution at the end of the day. Otherwise, it's like any other stock or anything else you buy in that retirement account. The stuff goes into that account, and it's going to grow totally tax deferred if it's a traditional IRA, or if it's Roth, it'll be tax free. You're not going to have the tax exposure until you take the money out. So back to the question, how do I get the cash flow? Well, the checkbook IRA, the money's going to go from that LLC back through the custodian and then out to you. So that's how that transfer happens. There's never going to be a transaction between you directly and that limited liability company. So contributions, distributions all have to flow through that custodian. But as far as the investments and who owns it, if we've got a checkbook IRA, that checkbook IRA LLC owns the asset. Everything to do with that. The insurance is not going to be an additional asset on your homeowner's policy. It's going to be a policy in the LLC's name. So just remember this, it's not you, it's the plan. It's your IRA LLC that owns the asset. If we're talking about 401k plans, it's going to be your 401k plan either directly or via a limited liability company that we'd put together for that. But I'd say the easiest way to handle this, if you're wanting to buy real estate with an IRA, it's going to be a checkbook IRA. I don't think there's any question that's the easiest way to do it. The downside is you do have to be careful because you've got the power of the pen, and you need to make sure that anytime you pull out that pen, you're really taking into account what's going on and who you're transacting, that check between or for the benefit of. So hopefully that's helped. Easiest way to buy real estate with a retirement account is with a checkbook IRA or a solo 401k plan. Basic accounts will work, but they're cumbersome. They're going to work with passive investments, things that are professionally managed. But I hope this has helped. If you've got further questions on this topic, don't hesitate to reach out. Once again, David Moore, IRA Advantage, IRAadvantage.com, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Take care. Bye.